What is going on, guys? Welcome back to DXB Crypto, your home of crypto, macroeconomics, and a bunch of other stuff, including shitcoins. Welcome back if you're a returning legend. And if you're new to the channel, smash the hell out of the like button and let's go. Now, I'm not sure where you stand on the argument, Nas versus Jim Jones, but everybody is divided on the big, beautiful bill. And the Bankers Association of the United States of America are in favor of the big, beautiful bill. I wonder why. Let's talk about it, because most investors are blind apart from looking at their tiny micro cap being read in months. And we've got to evolve with the times. We really need to understand the macro economy. What money is going to uplift your shitcoin is the question at a retail level. And how does that happen? All right. Should you be stacking what are lifeless coins, or do these lifeless coins have a chance or an opportunity to come back? And I'm going to explain to you exactly what happens from here. So first of all, the big thing no one is talking about this week is short from a macroeconomic perspective, but it is packed. Yesterday we had we had a vital day yesterday. Today, of course, is another big day. Friday is another big day. Although the markets are closed on Friday, is going to be non-farm payroll. So let's pay some attention here, guys. Banks say Trump's beautiful bill can boost and could boost the economy, as, of course, there are deficit concerns. And we're going to look at both sides of the argument, of course. I have brought you real facts, expertise by other people, and we'll go through that. But the Bankers Association strongly supports the many provisions of this bill, right? This is just what we need, because we've got degen in chief, and many people don't understand, despite the tariffs, the rugs, the wars, deep down, these guys want a very good stock market. And I'm going to give you both sides of the argument. Of course, we'll talk about some data on the market as well. But the Association of Bankers came out and said, we love it. Now, of course, they said it is unquestionably good for the US. Of course, there's a massive credit crunch in the United States, for those of you who don't know, where the cost of borrowing is absolutely skyrocketing. And families are being squeezed, businesses are being squeezed. And of course, it's time to go and print the cash, print the stuff like print, right? US President's Big Beautiful Bill, or it's called the One Big Beautiful Act, is a controversial piece of legislation, but some banks are in favor of it. I wonder why. The liquidity is needed. Your shitcoin's not going to move without liquidity. Hence, when people ask me about altcoins now, my answer is very simple. I look at a layer one, show you where it's going to go, and I'll tell you the whole ecosystem is undervalued, right? But the altcoins, especially apart from the dynamics of alt season, Bitcoin dominance breakdown, we need irrational money in the market for your shitcoin to go and do 100x, seriously, or a 10x, or whatever you're looking out for. So don't lose hope. Things are working in your favor, right? Up till this point, it's been absolutely brutal. But let's continue with this. Now, of course, J.D. Vance came out like a superhero, swinging the votes last night, 51-49, of course. And again, this now moves on to the next phase, back to the House, where it will continue to face some challenges. But there are sweeping tax reforms in this bill, and of course, certain incentives. Most people complain that this will add to the federal deficit, but that's already screwed effed anyway, right? The US deficit is too large. They just have to keep printing. And of course, they said there's a strong support by the Bankers Association. We're not really surprised as to why, but then there are some changes. Of course, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2027 includes lower income tax rates, child tax credits, and generous deductions for businesses. Without congressional action, many provisions under the act are set to expire by the end of 2025. A shift by analysts said that it could shrink household consumption, of course, consumer spending, and of course, corporate incentives. Short-term appeal for the bill lies in its ability to avert a sharp fiscal contraction in 2026. I think that could be a tough year. Most of these people agree that there are two sides to this argument. Others, however, flagged serious drawbacks, adding to the non-partisan Congressional Budget Office project said that the bill will add at least $3 trillion into the deficit. What is $3 trillion when your deficit is $37 trillion? The American deficit will grow likely in the next decade to over 100 trillion, right? Now, Morgan Stanley noted that early in June, the bill's pro-growth tax provisions may benefit businesses and individuals, as all key equity sectors such as communication, services, industrial, energy are all said to be raising concerns about the sustainability of this fiscal policy. So that's where it's at. Now, let's bring some expertise in it.
Let's go to an economist's perspective and say hello to James Heckman, who's a Nobel laureate in economics and a professor at the University of Chicago. Welcome to you, Professor.
Well, nice talking to you again.
It's lovely to have you back on the show. What's your thought on the no longer called Big Beautiful Bill from an economist's perspective?
Well, first of all, it's not a single issue bill. There are a number of issues that were raised by your previous speaker and that would actually characterize any analysis of this bill. There really is an issue concerning Medicaid, which is a big political hot potato. There's a lot of discussion that's connected with the misrepresentation of the deficit by the Congressional Budget Office, depending on the baseline that's actually used to compute the deficit generating properties of this bill. And so at this point, I think the general public is very confused, and I'm not entirely sure that polls on this matter are all that informative on this issue. Precisely as your previous speaker was saying, there are just so many, running parts, moving parts in this bill that nobody really sees it as a whole. I'm not even sure Trump sees it as a whole. He sees it as a personal statement of his personal honor and how much he can push this way through the House and the Senate. But so in terms of pure economics, I mean, one of the really critical points has been raised by good economists. It's in the Wall Street Journal and it's in most technical economic analyses of this, is this $3.3 trillion figure comes because of the way the tax cuts the 2017 tax cuts being preserved or not is treated in the analysis. And so that's a complete misrepresentation. Nobody really thinks that item of 3.3 trillion is at all relevant. So that's a matter, it's kind of a red herring in this discussion. The issue of work requirements is an old issue, and the question about the expansion of the welfare state is kind of a reversion of the Republicans back to kind of an older mode of analysis, thinking about the future of the balanced budget. We've seen under the first Trump administration big deficits, and this is going to contribute to a deficit as well, although not.
Right. So, yes, that's the argument. It is going to contribute to the deficit, but since when did people give a damn about deficits anyway? Like I said, guys, it's all subjective. At the end of the day, the US has to change. It has to change a lot. There is a threat to the dollar, not going to go anywhere anytime soon. But I do believe over the course of the next at least 6 months, while this bull market is over, that's all you care about, right? Well, if that's what you care about, then this beautiful, big, beautiful bill should absolutely stimulate the US economy. And if Trump gets his way, again, it was interesting to know Jerome Powell talking about stablecoin regulations as well yesterday, and I thought that was a pretty good, yesterday bankers gathering over there in Sintra in Portugal, and that's positive. Listen, Jerome Powell talked about the fact that he's on his way out, the fact that we are heading into his last tenure. Now, what was important the day before was to understand how Jerome Powell's going to be replaced, and even Scott Bessent is in the conversation. So, in terms of volatility, in terms of what I've shared previously, the major narratives are absolutely down. but we may come back to 104. We're flirting 104, 105, but Bitcoin does want to do ATH at some point and give it a good run in terms of where it could go. Now, let's have a look at some of these macro charts. The first one I'd look at is the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance should move to max pain. However, Bitcoin dominance is incredibly in a very tight, what I'd consider to be a, let's have a look at this on the weekly. Like I said, we have max pain, and you can clearly see that there's a red order block right here for max pain. If I can just draw this down a little bit. There we go. I mean, that's probably where max pain is, around that 70% level. Of course, this is where we need to reverse from. So this is where, if you look at this 73%, this is what I consider to be max pain for this cycle. And currently, the way we, with this ascending triangle, what I'm noticing here, guys, is Bitcoin at some point dominance will lose that steam. And until it does that on the weekly time frame, you can see it's coming up again to roll over potentially. Could we, we are finding this as a very, very big area of resistance. But let me show you another aspect of Bitcoin dominance that you may not see very clearly here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a trend line, okay? And I'm going to go from here, all right? If you look at this weekly trend line for Bitcoin dominance, right, especially this multi-week one, you're starting to see that this is a level of rejection that goes back to many, many weeks, months, years, right? You could see here we have a touch here, we have another touch here, right? And I think we'll come up to have another touch here. And of course, we came all the way from this level here. So you could see that this resistance here meets up beautifully to where we are now. So could we get that rejection and respect this trend line, right? It is a real possibility, guys. So that moment is not that far away. You have to be incredibly open-minded about the way these things happen. And of course, if we look at BTC right now, let's go to the daily. I can honestly say we are already at a level where BTC should be able to hold this 104. That's on the daily. Let's have a look at the weekly as well. Weekly support level here goes all the way back to probably that 100K level. But I would say Bitcoin right now above 105 is where you want to hold. All right. Even on the lower time frames, you can see here there is a order block here that's selling, but potentially we smash through that. If we can get above 108 or even 109 here, we're going to new all-time highs, right? 113 above, start holding above this level here. If we don't, I think the grass is always going to be cut around these levels. Again, there's plenty of institutional activity at 100K, 145K. So all this green area is pretty much the activity levels by where there's a lot of demand, order blocks for BTC. Okay, Ethereum dominance is at literally on its arse. It's literally at the bottom level where it's been for most of the time. You can see here it is completely and utterly in a position where it's going to reverse. At least 9% is better than 8% where it was a couple of days ago. Fear and greed index, again, the market right now looks to be a little bit more neutral, bang in the middle, right? You don't have too much greed. You don't have too much fear. We are just in a fear/greed neutrality zone. That's what we need to watch out for. Again, total crypto market cap as well. We could push up all the way to 3.28 trillion, but you can see here there is a red order block, of course, and resistance there. And of course, total 2, pretty much. Total 2 actually doesn't look too bad at all. And then total 3 is going to be bouncing off this level. I did tell you that. I did say he was going to bounce off that level. And guess what? We came right into that level, this green box, and we have bounced. We may come back and retest that. Okay. So those are your kind of Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin macro charts. If you look at alt versus BTC, of course, it's very difficult to understand for most retailers anyway, what's performing well versus BTC. Well, Solana BTC is absolutely hasn't turned yet. Could turn at these levels, but right now, Solana BTC is down. ETH is up marginally versus BTC. Alephium is slightly up against BTC. There's not a lot to go in there. Tau is actually one of the stronger ones, still just relative 0.56%. Sui BTC 0.71%, still trending down versus BTC. Of course, CAS nearly just 1%, but again, it is oversold, overbought, against BTC on the Bitcoin pairs. So once this turns, once you see the token start outperforming Bitcoin, then you start to realize, okay, that's got real momentum now versus BTC should be running way better. Okay, in terms of my overall layer ones and where they could go, like I said, gave you this yellow box. For Kaspa, still in play. Sui, there is a demand zone, and we are at that demand zone. Now, if we do break down, I did share this with you in the VIP Discord yesterday, we should come down to this level between up to 26 cents as the bottom. But again, 60 to 40 is an institutional order block. What you're seeing right here, this green box, it's not a box I've drawn. It is an institutional order block. Okay. What else are we looking at? I mean, so that's pretty much where most of these coins are. Again, big up to Jojo. Jojo and the team doing brilliant job. Again, you see Jojo is a pretty funny meme coin. Go grab some Jojo right now. It is at almost, it's at a good healthy level, 578K market cap and going strong. Again, Jojo is a community CTO run, funny meme coin that is on the Solana network. The team's about to start marketing, of course. And apart from Jojo, you saw what happened with Blaze, guys. Blaze. This was not good at all. Whoever bought this and whoever dumped it, absolutely, really awful way to treat the community. So I'm led to believe anyway, personally, I haven't got into Blaze. I did have a friend send it to me, but unfortunately I didn't really buy into it. But apparently that there was a particular community that were into this token. And look at this. Look what they've done. This thing was running so good. And all of a sudden now, they just clipped it. Right now, market cap here is $1.4 million. And I feel sorry for anybody who is, who basically got into this, right? Situation's not looking good. Hope, if you've got into that, then again, it's a difficult one, isn't it? By the way, big up to Nansen.ai, my official sponsors, and Nansen do alert me on these token movements all the time. So yeah, it is something that you need to be careful with when you see these kind of charts. Again, Cocoro, people are worried. People are saying, oh, Cocoro is not doing anything. What's going on with Cocoro? Blah, blah, blah. Cocoro right now has a tremendous opportunity at $9 million market cap to get back up. A lot of people are panicking, but at least Cocoro has the eyes, ears, and attention of HTX. It's just going to turn around with the market, guys. It's just going to turn around with the market. Again, another one that people are pissed off about is Nitro. Same thing with Nitro. Nitro is what? The whole market is absolutely swimming in these red candles at the moment. This is $2 million market cap. I think this does very well overall. At the end of the day, all you need to do is just buy a little bit of it. You don't put your life savings into it. Guys, like I've said, Sui, Say, Kaspa, Tau, Virtuals. These are the real, Chainlink. These are the real institutional coins that you should hold in your portfolio that I've been talking about for 4 years. These other ones are just quick flips, all right? Smash a like for the video and let me know your comments. Let me know how you see the economic situation in the US. I think it's positive, bullish for crypto, bullish for the stock market. And of course, at the end of the day, the deficit is never going to be paid, right? Just put that into your head. It's never going to be paid, guys. It's unpayable. 37 trillion going to 40, US going into a possible 100 trillion debt. And of course, they can always print again. Big up to Jay Powell. Could they, what's his name? Besson actually end up replacing him? He was asked that yesterday, and he did say that potentially yes. All right. Anyway, guys, have a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of the week, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Take care.